right, welcome back everybody to the last, at least for now, tutorial in the Flies of the Year list of tutorials I was going to do. This fly is called the Doppelganger Pheasant Tail. And this is another one of those winter kind of brainchild fly patterns where we got some new material in the shop that was Semperfli Micro Fritz. I looked at it and was like, oh, that's a nice enough diameter, and there's a couple of cool colors there that look like pheasant tail. Why not try and make basically a quasi pheasant tail out of this material? And so I did that, and lo and behold, surprise, surprise, it works really well. So this is a really simple pattern. The nice part about the Micro Fritz is it's super durable, so you don't even have to use any extra reinforcing techniques to get it to hold together, unlike pheasant tail. So if you want to look for an even simpler version that is nice and durable and is going to last for a lot of fish, this Doppelganger Pheasant Tail might be the pattern for you. In addition to that, this is another pattern that will be in the Fulling Mill catalog for 2025. So we don't have it in the shop yet for 2024, but come January or February next year, you can look for it to hit our doors. So if you don't happen to be a fly tyer, or you just want to add this pattern from a commercial source down the road, well, almost a year from now, you can probably have that happen. But in the meantime, for the rest of you who are tyers, let's get tying this Doppelganger Pheasant Tail. And it's really simple, like a lot of my patterns. And so in a few minutes, you'll have some instructions, and you might even be able to tie along and put some in your box real quick. So let's get tying. I'll see you in a second. Okay, let's get tying this Doppelganger Pheasant Tail. So we're going to start by just adding some thread that we're going to make a hotspot with and tie on the tail with. This is C by UVR thread in hot orange. You could change whatever to whatever color you want. This does make a good hotspot thread while still being relatively thin, but it's easier than adding a whole bunch of 16-aught Vivas, and it's also thinner than Glow Bright floss, which is another good option. Okay, so we're going to wrap it to the back and tie in a couple of CDL fibers for the tail. So I'm going to grab 4 of those, measure them about the length of the shank, so maybe about right there, transfer over. I'm going to give that thread a spin because it does like to flatten out this UVR, and I want to make it sure that it ties down in a narrow point here and doesn't spin around the hook shank. So I do a pinch wrap there, and those are maybe a smidge long, so while I don't have a lot of wraps, I'm going to shorten them up. Then I'm just going to make quite a few wraps here. And that's going to make a little hot spot for me. And I'm going to whip finish this off, and before I forget, I should have done this while I was wrapping the thread and just put some super glue on the thread itself, but this UVR thread tends to fray a little bit with teeth if you're not careful, so I'm just going to dab a little bit of super glue right there. That'll hold it together so it won't fall apart on or after a few fish. Okay, so now I'm going to switch thread to a dark brown 16-aught Vivas. And I've only got a couple more materials that are going to go on the fly here. The first one is Semperfli Micro Fritz. This happens to be dark mocha brown if you want a darker version of this. But there's several other good colors that kind of span the light to dark spectrum in browns, and I think one olive as well that's pretty good. We're going to tie this in near the front. Just do a little pinch wrap there. And then wrap back, and we want to wrap the thread back so it's just in front of that hot spot. That's our tie-in point. Wrap back front again, and go ahead and just do touching turns up the body. Tie that off right there, just behind the bead with just a little bit of space. Get in there and jab that flush. And then we're just going to add some kind of grayish hare's ear dubbing as a collar, and maybe just a kind of buggy legs up front. Maybe just a little bit more than that. Okay, I've added my dubbing. I'm going to go ahead and put some super glue on the thread. Do a couple turns with the super glue, 3 turns with the whip finisher. There's that. While the thread is still attached, just so I don't undo the whip finish, I'm going to brush out that dubbing just a little bit, just to suggest some legs. And that's it. That's the finished Doppelganger Pheasant Tail. Looks like a pheasant tail, but it isn't, so it's doppelganger. It's kind of got all the nice recipes of a small dark nymph, you know, to make a nice fish catching fly. And if you're even lazier than a typical simple pheasant tail tyer like me, this is a nice little substitute that's even quicker to tie. It's very durable. You don't have to worry about that Micro Fritz coming apart. And I'm confident it will catch you some fish out there on the water. Happy tying, everybody. All right, thanks for watching this last tutorial in the Flies of the Year series for the Doppelganger Pheasant Tail. Hopefully you've enjoyed this series, and we look forward to bringing you some on-the-water content now over the coming months. Now that it's warming up, it's a little bit easier to film outside than it has been over the winter. So if you like this video, give us that thumbs up and drop a comment. Let us know when you try this fly if it works for you. And please subscribe to the Tactical Fly Fisher channel. But most importantly, we really appreciate the support of those of you who come and you know, our customers in our shop. So there's a link in the video description below to a blog post where I have all of the materials for this fly listed. You can come straight over and purchase them. And we're happy to send you a little package with some goodies. And we're here for any other questions that you might have on fly tying or fly fishing. We really do appreciate all your support. You've made our shop's had a great last year, and we really appreciate all of you who've made that happen. So thanks again, and we will see you in the next one, hopefully fairly soon.